Very random one, I'll admit it. But I was going to see my audio archives from like a couple of years ago, and I forgot about something that I did. Now we all remember the famous interview with Mike Jang. It was truly iconic, wasn't it? And turns out I did another one with another rapper called JC in near ago. So it's to see. And huge respect to JC. I thought he did fantastic in the interview. I'm kind of holding back. I feel like if you watch it, so yeah. I hope you lot enjoy this. Hello,
What's up?
hello everybody. Welcome back to Disney Rank. Now, I'm your host as always, Lewis. Now, this episode is very different. Of course, usually we review Disney films and all that, but this episode is a bit different as I'm actually joined by a very special guest. Welcome to the podcast, JC.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, yeah, I just want to say a few things before we get into it, if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so it's actually been 2 months since our last episode. We have got an episode already recorded. Our editor's just kind of working on that and it's reviewed the Pixar film Onward, so just let everyone know. And we kind of explained the schedule changes and all that stuff. But yeah, I've been given a really good opportunity today to talk to a rapper. So could you introduce yourself, tell people a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do?
So my name's JC. I produce my own music and write my own lyrics, write my own raps. I produce everything on Logic X Pro. I've been making music for almost 2 years. I'm only 19. I release my music onto Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, iTunes, Pandora, all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, that's really awesome. Now, this is a really good opportunity for me to kind of do. I'm this year I've kind of looked a lot into rap and I really do enjoy kind of rap. I'm not a rapper myself personally, but I'm really interested in it. And I made a post on Reddit like, would anyone want to come on the podcast? And JC DM'd me. I was like, let's do this, and now you're here. It's really cool. So I've got 10 different questions, just all about kind of your rap career and just kind of like a bunch of different stuff. We'll get into that quickly. So the first question is, starting from the beginning, what kind of made you start rapping as a whole? What kind of started the whole thing?
so it's actually quite a deep story, to be fair.
All
So
right.
um, it started off with my sister's boyfriend actually cheated on my sister, and this affected my sister quite a lot, and it put her through a lot of dark times. And I hurt with her. I hurt seeing her hurt. So this then fueled a lot of emotion inside of me, and I had to release it, and I didn't know how else to release it. But I'd always been into rapping. I'd never made any music at all before, never done anything to music,
Well,
but I just always had a love for rap. And I said, stuff it, went onto YouTube, picked up a beat, and just let all of my emotions come out and released the first song. That was my first song, Cheater, and it all started there.
well, that is an incredible story. Just gonna point that out, like to go through that. And so, are you and your sister like really close?
Yeah, very, very.
That's really cool, and like that's what like a lot of the time stuff music and rap kind of comes from a dark place, and
Yeah,
most of the most famous rappers was there. And incredible story. Like I knew nothing pretty much about you going into this. I'm going completely blind. I've listened to a bit of your music and it's awesome, but that's really cool.
yeah.
It's really good. Um, yeah, that I'm speechless. um, so should we move on to another question?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So you already touched upon this, but it all kind of began 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah, roughly.
So so what was it like when you kind of first released that first song? Like, what did you kind of expect to happen? Like, did you expect?
I didn't expect anything. Like, I just wanted to make music. Obviously, the dream. Any person that makes music, whether they say it or not, the dream in the back of their head is to become famous. It's always the dream.
It is, yeah.
And yeah, I just wanted to make music. I just wanted to express how I was feeling, to be able to show other people
Yeah,
and see if other people liked it, because it was, like I say, something that I've always
yeah,
been interested in. And
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never been good at many things in my life. So when I found out I was good at rapping, I just clung to it and stuck.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm kind of the same thing. I'm not great at means a lot of things. When I kind of come to something that I'm good at, that's really awesome. So when you so how many views, like how many listens you kind of get a month? Like
Uh,
how? Because I know you have like 100 something subscribers, but like
yeah,
how many like monthly listeners do you get and stuff like that?
monthly listeners, I don't get too many. I probably get a couple hundred here and there. But whenever I release something on YouTube, I always get over like 300 views.
That's really good. You say that, but you started from scratch. You didn't really, you just came out of nowhere, and you've done quite well. Like one of my friends releases kind of music as well, and he only gets like 50
It's
listens a month. Like
it's very hard because you have to, if you're not paying for promotion, then you really have to work it.
yeah,
A lot of people they pay for promotion. I haven't paid for any. I've started it completely from scratch. I do everything myself. So like graphic design for my cover photos, everything that goes into my music is all from me. So
yeah,
starting from completely nothing, not putting any money into it, it is very hard to grow.
yeah. It's kind of my favorite kind of story of like when you have these people who, they you've done this whole thing alone. You probably don't have much. Like, of course, you have support, but no one else helps you. You write the lyrics, you make the beats. You do your stuff, and you've done quite well.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a couple other rappers who would like to come and do on the show, and you're actually the most successful of those.
I'm privileged.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we kind of we kind of tacked on this earlier, but your main inspiration was there any other inspiration apart from the whole event with your sister?
Well, I'd always be sitting in my room feeling kind of down. I've always like mental health is something that runs through my family. It always has, and I've never been good at talking to people. I've never been good at like telling
Yeah,
people how I feel. It's when I'm rapping it. I'm expressing it in a way that I couldn't normally. So if someone was to ask me to sit down and like go in and out, like talk about my problems, I wouldn't be able to do it. But when it
but
when it comes to rapping,
you
it's so much easier.
yeah, you have all the ideas, and then you just put them on paper, and the way you spread it out. A lot of rappers, rap is a very serious thing. And a lot of people don't take it seriously, but it really is one of those things where a lot of rappers have gone through a lot, and they put kind of the lyrics on paper. And music's a really powerful
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
If and when it kind of comes to that, so let's talk a little bit more about a few of the songs that you kind of released. Like what, like you've done quite a few songs, but what would you say are like some of your favorite songs that you've released?
Um, Personally, I don't really have favorites. I look at them all as steps because where I've come,
Yeah,
obviously I haven't been making music long at all, so I'm still improving. I'm still nowhere near professional level, but I'm still improving. So I'd say
yeah,
my best songs are probably the ones that I release closer to date, which would be my
okay,
EP Bangers from My Bedroom, which I just recently released. The five
yeah.
songs that are in
So,
that are probably the best songs that I've released.
so for people who don't know, let's talk about your most recent song.
Okay.
I'm just get and kind of could you tell them what it's all about and like
Well, my most recent thing is "Bangers from My Bedroom," which I said that was my EP. There's
yeah,
5 songs in that. They're not really anything. They're not talking about anything specific. It's literally all of my other songs before. They're all quite like deep. They're quite emotional songs. So this time I was just going for it. I was just having fun, being bouncy. There was a complete mix of genre. There's boom bap. There's melodic rap. There's trap. There's drill. It's a wide variety for people that like different types of rap, and I just wanted to have some fun with it. There wasn't really anything that it came from. It was just have some fun, make some music.
yeah, yeah. So before you would kind of like you went through a massive thing in your life or your sister went through something but now it's kind of like, all right, I've done that, I'm a bit more experienced and I'm going to do something different, which is really
Yeah,
cool. I gave a listen to a couple of those songs, and yeah, they're really good. They're really you can really tell the difference and the improvement you have made in the past 2 years because you're all like the past kind of
Yeah,
year. Like there is an
that's
improvement there.
that's
So
why
like
I won't ever delete any of the songs that I released first, as bad as they may be, like quality wise. I'll never
I know
delete them.
that's the thing with me actually. I used to do YouTube a few years back, and I was like really young, and but they're good to look back on, and you see the improvement you've
Good to know.
made. And I've just recent I've recently started YouTube again, and the content I make is still not perfect, but it's way better than what I was doing. But I'm not going to delete what I did before because that kind of would take away the improvement and the growth, and it's the same thing with you, which
If
is really
you
good.
plus if you keep all of the songs on there, then you can really see where you've came from. Like you can see your improvement
Yeah,
each step of the way.
yeah, that's really cool. So I noticed that your newer album, that actually like actual music videos were like the actual filmed videos. What was like the filming process like for
It wasn't bad to be
that?
fair. I just met up with one of my mates. Just went around my local estate, went into town, went into an abandoned school, and just took some photos, took some videos, and then used them. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, like they look pretty well
Yeah,
done. It's pretty cool that it's that easy. Because most of the time when you're filming a music video, it's not always that hard. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, your earlier songs weren't music videos, so you have made a lot of improvement. And but your earlier stuff is good too, and the emotion in it, and it really I could tell that earlier songs do mean a lot to
yeah.
you, still to this day. Now the next thing is kind of where does it all start? Where do you get the ideas for most of your songs?
Well, I literally what I'll do is I'll get a sample, and the sample that I pick will give me inspiration, and I'll be making beats 24/7 all the time, making beats, and then I'll just
Yeah,
one time I'll make a beat that I'll really like, and I'll think stuff it. I'll write a song to this one, and whatever inspiration comes into my head then is where it comes from. But if it's an emotional song, then they're usually based off of breakups, or they're usually based off of things that I feel deeply about.
yeah. That's the kind of thing with me. Like I don't really do music, but when I do, kind of like I have done a bit of like some work in the past. I've not released anything, but I kind of do the same thing where I just come up with ideas and making beats and
Yeah,
stuff. And yeah, that's really cool. That's really awesome. So they all kind of come from different places,
yeah,
but yeah, I do like the balance that you have in your songs. That you do a variety of stuff, and it's not just because a couple of the other rappers I was checking out, like all their songs are kind of like they're all kind of based off of one thing, and but I like the variety you
yeah.
have, which is really good.
Well, I started obviously, like I said, I started doing the emotional songs because that was where I came from. That was where I really felt about.
Yeah,
But then, like, I study music at my college, and we perform gigs. So when I'm performing, it's a lot better to have a bouncier, higher energy song rather than performing an emotional song because it can really get the crowd involved.
well, yeah, that's the cool thing. Like so you're like in a better place right now than you were a
Hundred
year
percent,
ago.
100%.
Yeah, and the rapping, it's kind of really better. And you go, and of course, 2020 has been a very
Yeah,
strange
very
year,
strange.
but. So a bit off topic, but how has like this year kind of affected you? Just wondering.
Well, luckily, I'm quite privileged that my parents helped me out a lot with the things that I have. So, any anything that
Yeah,
I've really needed, they've been really supportive and they've provided. Um, so I have a lot of good equipment at home that I can always make. Like I can always make music with. I'm never out. I'm never missing out on anything. I've always been. I've been quite prepared. I've been in quite a good position, to be honest.
yeah. You seem like really focused on what you're doing. Like you're always there 24/7 making the beats,
Yeah,
writing
yeah,
lyrics, and that's the good mindset to have. And you really put a lot of hard work and effort, and you deserve every view you've got because the hours you must put into it is
thank you very
insane.
much.
So yeah, yeah. So going on a little bit similar. What equipment do you use to make your beats and to write your lyrics and kind of produce your
So
songs?
in front of me, I have the Alesis Elevate 5 Mark II studio monitors. I have a 4-octave Alesis keyboard, and I have my keyboard and mouse and my Mac. That is, and I have my SL150 microphone.
Cool. So you've got quite a good amount of stuff.
For a home studio, it's a very basic setup, but it's more than you need.
Yeah. How much do you reckon the whole thing kind of costs? Like, I know the Mac's going to be expensive and stuff.
Around £500-600.
Yeah, that's good. And, you know, for an independent rapper, that's quite a lot of money.
Nothing compared to some of the setups I've seen, trust me.
Yeah, some of like the high-end professional rappers out there, but it's good for what you do, you know, you're independent, you're growing for nothing, you're still growing, and as the years go on, you can kind of get more stuff and improve, you know, and hopefully one day you could, you know, get a really successful song.
That is the dream.
Yeah, and that's what the game's towards, and, you know, you, of course, over time, you keep growing, and, you know, you keep getting higher, and that's the great stuff, so so you do have 127 subscribers. Moving along here, how do you kind of promote your music, and what is kind of your marketing that you kind of do? Like, how do you spread the word? And
so I use obviously social media to my advantage. I shout my music out on my Snapchat, my Facebook. I have my own Facebook page, my music. I shout it out on Instagram, and I distribute my music through United Masters, who send it off to things like Spotify, Amazon Music, and iTunes, the streaming platforms. And I join groups on Facebook that are full of music producers, full of rappers, so we can network together and try and grow together. I use anything to my advantage on social media. Social media is really powerful at the moment.
It is. When like that's the one disadvantage I have to my podcast. I don't use any social media other than Reddit, so it's hard to kind of promote my stuff. You know what I mean? And yeah, social media is really the best when it comes to promoting, spreading the word. You know, and every listen really does matter.
Yeah.
And could they build up? You know, if you tell one person about it and they tell another person, then it just keeps going.
100%. Every single person that clicks on the video is critically important.
Yeah, at this stage and how you.
Yeah, 100%. It's very appreciated.
That's really cool. So this is a bit of an off question, but do you have like any personal favorite rappers, or like what kind of rappers do you listen to?
I've gotten quite into drill at the moment, but I'd say my biggest influence would probably be Ocean Wisdom. He's got quite of a similar style to me. He can go nice and slow and be like nice and melodic, but at the same time he can spit hard triplets and go fast. And he's probably put the most inspiration into me.
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing. And I've never heard of this person, but a lot of people do get a lot of inspirations, and
it's quite surprising because I'm not the type of like stereotypical rapper. Like, I've never really been too big on Eminem. I like Eminem, don't get me wrong, I like his music, but I don't type it in and listen to it. He's not my first choice rapper. I appreciate what he does.
And
he's not my type of tea. Like, people, I tend to listen to like UK rappers, like drill rappers, Ocean Wisdom. I like a lot of the American rap that they've got going now.
Yeah, that there are a lot of quality rappers out there. I've only really got into rap this year, kind of during COVID and all that, just trying to find new hobbies. And yeah, I listen to rappers and give my opinion. I'm not a rapper personally. I'm terrible.
I'm sure you're not terrible.
Yeah, I'm not the worst out there, but your year's better. you do a really good job on what you do. Yeah. So growing up, did you not really care for rap?
I was never musical. I sung here and there with my sister and brother, like when we were going in the car, don't get me wrong, but I never liked rap. I was never a rap fan. It was only when I got to around, I want to say, like 11, maybe 12, I probably listened to my first rap song. It was, do you remember the Macklemore song "Can't Hold Us"?
Yeah, that
It
one.
starts off with a little bit of a fast verse. I heard that and I thought, yeah, I want to
Oh
learn
yeah,
that.
and then it's like, but the
Yeah,
ceiling
that
can
one. Yeah,
hold
exactly.
us. Yeah. I know that one. I
Yeah,
quite
it's a
like
very.
that one. That's
And
pretty
then
cool.
I heard Rap God. This was probably when I was 13, and I was sitting in my room with my mate, and I was just constantly going for it, trying to learn it over and over and over again until I got it. And then when I
Yeah,
got it, I realized that I could probably do it a little bit faster, and then noticed that I could do it a little bit faster than other people, and then carried on.
yeah. I do try to learn rap. My favorite kind of rap is I do like quite a lot of the big ones like Drake and Eminem and stuff, but I do quite enjoy the Black Eyed Peas and a few. I do really like enjoying to like smaller rappers and people with under 1,000 listeners and
Yeah,
stuff. It's really cool to see these young people trying to make their
it's
way in the
it's
world.
brilliant to see how
Um,
many people are
my
trying to get into the industry, seeing everything that they're creating.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. Like you look back 20 years ago and you don't have as many rappers, but you've got so many people
Yeah,
these days. And
there's so many opportunities now because of social media. Because of social
yeah,
media,
yeah, like no anyone could just become famous and go from no one knowing to famous in like a few months.
if you get lucky, then it can go quickly,
Yeah,
but
but
it's a lot hard.
but it's it's a hard grind in the
Yeah,
beginning to kind of get to that point that you kind of all right, and you're still going, you're still climbing. Like when did you hit 100
um,
subs?
it's probably a while ago now. It's probably coming up to a year. I'm not gonna lie. It might be a little bit, might be 3 or 4 months off, but yeah, next year it'll be a year.
Yeah. So this recent album you put out, it looks like you put quite a lot of work into it because I'm looking here and before this you hadn't released a song for 4 months.
Yeah,
So a lot of effort must have went into
yeah.
that
It took
one.
me quite a while to think of the ideas, think of the songs that I wanted to make. The first few,
It does take
yeah, no, it does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to mainly perfect what you're making. You want to make sure that what you're releasing is the best to your ability, and that's probably the thing that takes the most time. But writing and recording, that doesn't take too long. But afterwards, the finalizing, the getting the cover photos done, editing the cover photos, all of that takes a little bit of time.
yeah. I'm just having a look at a bunch of your music here. I've got it loaded up and you've got quite a lot of songs.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
I think I've almost released 30 singles.
Yeah, which is really good. So you have, of course, your original album where you have like, the Cheetahs song and quite a few, and then you've kind of done a few kind of small singles here and then you've got the new album you've recently put out, which
Yeah.
I the next question is kind of what do you think in your career so far was your proudest moment?
Proudest moment. That is a very good question.
I know it's
I'm gonna
it's a
have to
deep
think about it
one.
for a second. No, to be fair, I reckon my proudest moment would be the first gig that I performed. It was for my college, and I performed songs that I had written, and like my sister was
Yeah.
there, my nephew was there, my mum and my dad were there, and like all the people that I could care to see me perform were there, and just the way that I performed and them seeing it just made my night.
What was the reaction
They
from
loved it.
everyone?
They all loved it. The crowd absolutely loved it. One of the songs that
Yeah.
I performed was the fastest song to date, so still today that I've written. And
Yeah. Which one
I
is that
haven't
by
actually released
chance?
it yet. It's a song that that I'm working on getting released with someone that is in my college, but I need to wait
Oh,
until COVID's all out of the way so he can come around and record it.
yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you're doing gigs and
I
stuff. So, how many gigs have you done
I've
exactly?
only done the one. I've only ever performed one gig, but
Yeah.
obviously it was only last year, so obviously COVID hit and then it took away all my opportunities. But as soon as COVID's gone, I'm gonna
It's
get straight up on that stage.
yeah. It's just so awesome that you get all these people, watching you and cheering, and it's just incredible that you're like, this is me, and I've wrote these songs, and it wasn't for
Yeah,
nothing. You know what I mean? And of course, hopefully, hopefully, but next year COVID will be over. You never know with the way the
Yeah, that
world's
doesn't look
going,
good, does it?
but yeah, but hopefully sometime next year you can get back in, you know, doing the stuff. But you've still kind of been
Well,
releasing music and
I have
still
a lot of
working.
I have a lot of unreleased music that's coming soon.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll definitely be updated. I'm
Thank you very much.
subscribed, and I'll be I'll be listening to your songs and stuff and giving some stuff out. So this question here is kind of like what what advice would you give to anyone who's like listening to this who wants to be a rapper and is wants to kind of start? What advice do you give
Any
them?
obstacles that you have in your way, you will always, as long as you push for it, overcome. If you want it as bad as you think you want it, then push. Don't let anything try and get in the way of your dreams, because if that's what you want to do, don't stop until you get it.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. That's totally true. Like you may have obstacles out there, but you know you're gonna get through it and you're gonna keep fighting. And if there is a problem, just try your hardest and you will get there
There
eventually.
will
And
be,
that's
for
a really
people
cool
that are
thing.
trying to come up in the rap industry, there will be many obstacles, a lot of which I face. One of them is when you're up and coming, when you're not professional. I'm not professional level, and I struggle like sometimes if things aren't being engaged as well as I want them to. So if things don't reach my expectations, then it will put me down. But you need to remember that it's a battle. It's not a straight line. You've
Yeah,
got to keep on pushing. Things are gonna knock you down, but you just got to get back up and keep on pushing.
yeah. The hardest part of any rapper's career will be that first kind of year, trying to build up, especially if you're all on your own, just trying to make your way up in the world. And you know it's going to be a hard grind, and you might never get to the top. But you know, as long as you've got people listening, for me, if I were a rapper, I'd be happy if I've got 100 views per one to, and like like 20 likes or something to see that 20 people
Yeah,
actually like it, and it's really cool. Like you're in a good position, but you can still grow, and you've only been at it for a year, and you go. So make sure if you are a rapper, just use social media, promote all you want. Do gigs in schools or
yeah,
colleges and stuff, and just it's going to be a hard
yeah,
grind, but you're going to get there. So that's really the thing. So I've got a couple bonus questions I've just thought of while I'm doing this, which I'll throw in quickly. So what kind of your family's reaction when they found out you were going to be a rapper, you were going to be releasing
they
this
were very,
music?
very surprised. Like I said, I was never really. So
Yeah,
when I just come out and I like when that happened to my sister, and I literally just dropped it. I just made this song. I made it overnight. It literally, my sister was downstairs with her friend, absolutely in tears, and that fueled so much anger in me. Fueled so much emotion. So I came upstairs, stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning, which I believe like between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning is melancholic hours. They are the time where you feel the most emotion.
yeah,
But I don't know, but you just feel so much
yeah.
emotion in them hours, and that was when I wrote the song.
It just, yeah, and everyone just go listen to the song. It's the amount of effort and work, and what your family went through and stuff, and it's really a magical story of like you never cared for rap and this horrible thing happened to your sister and it just happened and you released it in the night and
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's really, really awesome. And so yeah, I think we are coming up to a wrap
Okay.
point. I've asked all the questions. So anything before we kind of go you want to say?
Just obviously the usual. Am I called to shout out my music?
Yeah, yeah, cool. Of course, I'm interviewing you.
Obviously it's JC on YouTube, on any like Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. Um, yeah, just if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. Give the songs a listen. Let me know how you think.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah,
feedback is really
especially at this
important.
stage, feedback, knowing what I can improve on is the most important.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you
No,
so
thank you
much
for
for
having me,
joining
man.
me. It's yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So go check out JC. He's awesome, and this is the guy who puts so much effort into what he does, and he's still growing. And you know, yeah. Hopefully you'll have main episodes back soon. Our editor's working on the onward episode, which will be out hopefully before the end of the month. But we'll have a great time. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Go check out JC. Make sure to share this podcast. Let everybody know, and yeah. So I'm Lewis.